My name is Skip McShay, and I am an American. I'm not an activist or a community organizer. I'm not really involved in any kind of political movement, but I am an American, and I am a patriot, and I am concerned. I'm only 19 years old, halfway through college. I have never borrowed money from any financial institution, and yet somehow, the last time I looked, I was in debt to the tune of over $100,000 to the government. It's funny. Prior to his election, Barack Obama promised the American people that taxes wouldn't be raised one single dime. I remember that term, one single dime. Well, here I am, owing the government over $100,000. Yet as a professional wage earner, I have not even made one single dime. Who's to blame? There are varying opinions. Maybe it's the Democrats, but then again, it's always Bush's fault. But to me, it doesn't really matter who's at fault. What does matter is that we have to fix it. My fellow contemporaries and I don't really want much. We certainly don't want handouts. All we are asking for is liberty and opportunity. The same liberty and opportunity you had. My parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents had. Yes, my great-grandparents when they immigrated to this great land from Europe at the turn of the 20th century.
This is not just for you, but for the other speakers. You got to eat this mic. We can't hear you over there. Yeah, that's not enough. It's got to be right there.
Okay, there you go. Is that better? Even my great-grandparents, when they immigrated to this great land of Europe, came here legally. They obeyed all laws with an allegiance to this great country that granted them those freedoms and that liberty. That's why they came here, and they knew it, and they appreciated it. But I'm not so sure I'll have those same opportunities and freedom, knowing that I'll have to assume such tremendous debt before I even start out in life. How can I be productive, prosperous, and achieve great things, in turn helping others to do the same, if I am handcuffed and bound with such debt? How will the free market survive, enabling us, as a free people, to foster American ingenuity, creativity, cures for diseases, mathematical solutions, and all the things that constitute what is a real entity, American exceptionalism? But for now, allow me to concentrate on the positive rather than the negative. Allow me to tell you a little bit about a concept that has guided much of my own political philosophy. There is a man named Belit Bashigny, and the philosophy is about his 4 compass points. Belit Bashigny was a great concert pianist who escaped from Hungary in the 1950s, immigrating to the United States. Once here, he fell in love with this great land and all its freedoms. He became a historian, and as a senior fellow of the Potomac Foundation, became director of the American founding. Belit believed that in order for this nation to continue to thrive and be free, we must embrace those 4 concepts which make up his so-called 4 compass points. In application to so many issues, these 4 points can be a guiding light. I can tell you a little bit about them, but you can make the application, especially to the issue at hand in Arizona. The first compass point is the rule of law. We are in danger of replacing the rule of law with social justice. They are mutually exclusive. You can't have it both ways. The rule of law puts basic rules in place that are beyond the reach of politicians and whoever happens to be in power. It fosters legitimacy and accountability and insulates against corruption. Moreover, it demands equal application to every individual. Whereas social justice is open to interpretation. The interpretation of whomever happens to be in power in the moment, either legitimately or illegitimately. It is relative, unstable, and easily manipulated. It is an empty slogan, capitalized upon by power-hungry opportunists who will use well-intentioned, charitable, and altruistic individuals to further their cause. Furthermore, governments that attempt to bring about social justice fuel discontent, setting goals that are unrealistic and frustrating, while suggesting a state of hopelessness. Come to think of it, if you run a campaign on hope, it might just suggest that what exists at the time is in fact hopelessness. Interesting, isn't it? Blint was obviously before his time. The next compass point is a provision for individual rights. The rights of the individual must prevail over group rights. The rule of law gives birth to individual rights, as only individuals can have rights, as only individuals can be free. For a society to be free, individuals must be free. On the other hand, group rights, be it with regard to religion, gender, ethnic background, or race, cancel out individual rights. We must never allow our individual rights to be snuffed out or diluted by group rights. Our individual rights make us who we are. We are so blessed because we are Americans. The third compass point is the right to acquire and hold property. According to our founders, without private property, there is no incentive, there is no security, there is no liberty. The freedom to keep what is ours underlies all of our liberties. Furthermore, those who believe in social justice and group rights don't necessarily recognize private property. They believe in the redistribution of property in the form of entitlements. These entitlements have nothing to do with accomplishment or law, but are doled out to others based on group rights and social justice. And all of that is simply determined by who happens to be in power at the time. The fourth and final compass point is a strong national identity. As an individual of Irish and Polish ancestry, I celebrate wonderful traditions from both countries. However, I am not Irish American, and I am not Polish American. I am an American first. Today, however, diversity is the buzzword. And while there is nothing wrong with diversity, we are a nation of immigrants. It is our identity. But just as the immigrants of yesteryear came to this country and assimilated, the same should be expected of those who came here today. They should be expected to obey the law, learn its customs, pledge allegiance to the flag, and above all, learn the English language. The social justice crowd would like to replace our national identity with diversity and multiculturalism. If it continues, it will destroy our national identity, and unfortunately, they are well on their way. What we need to do is to teach the founding documents in the schools, as well as an accurate and chronological account of American history. We also need to insist upon the mastery of the English language and consistently remind those who come here why they did so. North, south, east, or west, wherever we are in this United States of America, these four compass points must prevail for our nation to succeed. Apply them wherever and whenever you choose. Once again, I stand here today not as an activist or as a community organizer. I just want what you had, what every generation had before me. Liberty. I am an American, and for that, I thank God. Now let me introduce our next speaker, Mr. Andrew Joppa. Mr. Andrew Joppa is a retired professor of business and economics from Mercy College. He founded a master's degree program in organizational leadership and designed and taught graduate ethics courses for 15 years. He is a Vietnam veteran